everyone, today we are diving into two highly influential texts in architectural theory, a pattern language by Christopher Alexander and file conditions by Stephen Allen. Both challenge how we think about form, design, order, and participation in the built environments. While Alexander offers a deeply human-centered rule-based method, Allen proposes an adaptable, open-ended system. In this video, I'll explore their approach, compare their core ideas, and respond to key questions to uncover their relevance in contemporary architecture.
Christopher Alexander defines good architectural form as one that enhances human well-being. For him, architecture must feel alive, support everyday life, and be intuitively understood. His concept of a pattern language is a collection of design solutions called patterns that are based on real human needs and experiences. These patterns range from macro scales, like the layout of a town, to micro ones, like window seats. Rather than prescribing rigid outcomes, Alexander's language offers a toolkit of relational components that can be combined to create cohesive, life-affirming environments.
Stan Allen's field condition rejects the idea of architecture as object-based design. Instead, he sees architecture as the organization of multiple elements within a system-like field of relationships, entities, vectors, or programs. He derives inspiration from biology, infrastructure, and mathematics to propose a non-hierarchical, distributed approach to the space making. Field conditions allow for indetermination, local adaptation, and time-based transformation. There are less about control and more about setting up framework where change can happen.
For Alexander, the designer is a facilitator of life. They use patterns to help communities co-create spaces that reflect their values and rhythms. Its participatory and moral designers must care about the people who inhabit the spaces. Allen, on the other hand, frames the designer as a strategist or system builder. Their job is to choreograph interactions and flows within fields, not the final form. The designer creates potentials, not answers. So, while Alexander trusts human traditions and experiences, Allen trusts systems, responsiveness, and emergence.
Alexander acknowledges complexity but seeks to tame it through timeless human-centered rules. His method resists randomness or excessive abstraction. Each pattern must be understandable and usable by ordinary people. Allen, in contrast, embraces complexity and contingency. As essential, his method thrives on uncertain conditions, urban flux, programmatic overlaps, or ecological gradients. Rather than resisting change, Allen's systems are built for it.
Alexander's patterns are explicitly about social use. They are deeply responsive to human rituals, emotional needs, and community dynamics. Participation is embedded in the process. People can literally build their homes using the pattern language. Allen's fields are less about direct participation and more about contextual responsiveness. They react to topography, infrastructure, or density. While not focused on individuals, field-based designs respect larger systems and enables flexible occupation. In short, Alexander serves people. Allen serves conditions, both valid but at different scales and with different values.
Alexander's model is often critiqued for being nostalgic or overly identitist. It assumes a universal human experience which may not account for cultural or technological variations. Also, pattern logic may become formulaic if misapplied. Allen's model, meanwhile, can be abstract and hard to grasp without strong design literature. Because it lacks fixed outcomes, it may seem vague or detached from human emotion. It risks becoming purely formal if social meaning is consequently reintroduced, but require truthful application. Alexander patterns need adaptation, and Allen's fields need grounding in lived experience.
In today's world marked by climate crisis, rapid urbanization, and digital networks, Allen's open-ended, adaptive thinking offers crucial tools. Styles are no longer static, we need strategies that evolve with change. That said, Alexander's human-centered approach remains incredibly valuable, especially in housing, public space, or community-driven design. His work reminds us that architecture is ultimately for people, not systems. Perhaps the best way forward is not choosing one over the other, but synthesizing them using Alexander's empathy and Allen's adaptability together.
Time plays a very different role in Alexander's and Allen's thinking. In a pattern language, time is slow and evaluationary. Spaces are meant to age gracefully, to reflect accumulated human use. Alexander believes that good design grows over time like a living organism. Patterns are timeless because they are grounded in centuries of human behavior. But this also can lead to reluctance to embrace radical change or innovation. Allen's field conditions approach, however, is inherently time-sensitive. It embraces temporarily not just how architecture ages, but how it operates over time. Think of phased developments, shifting programs, or seasonal transformations. For Allen, architecture isn't a fixed product but a dynamic process that adjusts as conditions change. So, while Alexander offers continuity and stability, Allen prepares for us for flux and transformation, two equally important dimensions of time in architecture.
So, what does order mean in these two visions? For Alexander, order is a model of intuitivity, a kind of social and emotional coherence. For Allen, order is emergent and spatial, a product of interactions across time. Where Alexander gives us language, Allen gives us syntax. One focuses on what should be done, the other on how it can adapt. Designers today face both tasks, creating a space that are meaningful and flexible, rooted in life, yet ready for change. Thanks for watching. If you are grappling with what kind of designer you want to be, think about this. Do you want to guide people with patterns or empower system with fields? Maybe the most powerful design emerge when we do both.